You know, it's a sign of the times when people are pulling out all the stops to try to basically sling shit at you like a monkey. It's weird how, despite the fact we consider ourselves such a highly advanced, evolved, civilized species, that when it all comes down to it, it always resorts to just that. Just people throwing shit at each other, hoping something will cling, something will stick. I want to go back to like my statement on the whole Donald Trump and like the monkey, clear, obvious, like obvious, just cover up basically. Like it's nothing more than that because when so many people who had control over the government, specifically Bill Gates, and we're finding out like some other people inside of the government, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's coming out with a statement later, so he's going to address all these rumors, but he's being, taking all these pictures with like these like little ass girls and shit, and all these people who are talking to Jeffrey Epstein. I think the funniest one is Deepak Chopra. I'm just like, what the fuck does he want with this guy? And then he's just, you see the emails and you're just like, holy fuck, dude. And the way I see it, a lot of people are going to be like, don't judge. You're quick to judge. Don't judge, right? Excuse me. Well, to that I say, we're in the point of our lives where you're better off just saying, well, you're better better just showing you some evidence to the contrary that this wasn't you or that doesn't involve you. It's like, did you know that the Nickelodeon logo was actually the Jeffrey Epstein like island? It's just you have to look at it and then invert it, and it's the exact same outline and everything. And I'm like, now it's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make sense why, like, like and it was obvious probably to like a lot of people who worked at that company in this like, whatever studio, that the goings on there were, less than savory, but keep it tight-lipped, shut, tight-lipped, and keep your mouth shut. But that's why you shouldn't keep your mouth shut, because we got to talk about the Jewish elephant of the room. This Barack, what is it? Ohahu, whatever the fuck, however the fuck you say his name, the former prime minister of Israel, partying it up with a bunch of little girls. Yeah, we've reached the conspiracy theory boiling point where these people who've always wanted the ammunition to basically blanket statement insult people now have like a lifetime's worth of ammunition. And that's why it's very important to point out the desperate nature of the defeated. Because, okay, you could point the finger, right? And say, like, yeah, the former prime minister of Israel was partying up with these, like, little girls and stuff on Epstein Island and was, like, really fucking close to the guy. Like, he was, like, asking about Plant. No, he wasn't even asking about Plantier. This, spy AI bullshit. Jeffrey was like bringing it up to him and like informing him about like the major players in our government. Like that in and of itself is high treason. And when you like watch the Jeffrey Epstein, I think it was like one of his last interviews, like when he got arrested or something, and he was just like getting asked all these hardcore questions about like these underage girls and this and that, and he's like, my lawyer informed me to tell me to not speak about this. I have to plead the Fifth Amendment. Like, dude sounds like a dork. He has like an ass on his like forehead. Yo, the funniest shit about this guy is he's such a fucking utter loser, and everybody probably around him knows it and thinks that he's like the ultimate fall guy, which he probably was. Like, he's not as powerful as people like make him out to be. He's more like a facilitator to their like sick machinations, and that's why we should all be open-minded when judging these people. Like, we should always be harsh towards them. Like I said, like if Trump's involved in this, I gotta cut him loose. Like, we're talking about 36, however many thousand times. Like, it's a bunch of times, and like, yeah, I understand that like Trump was like the major player in the politics, the political elections running up to his presidency, but he wasn't in contact with Jeffrey before that. He wasn't in contact with Jeffrey after that, but Bill Clinton was. And who was Bill Clinton running against? Or his wife was running against, So exactly why would his name be brought up so many times? Because when when people are gonna get defeated, like Hillary Clinton, they get desperate. They want to do desperate things, right? So this new news that's coming, I don't even call it news. I can just call it bullshit because I spoke about the character that is Denims. Fucking Denims, man. Frogan and Denims. Frogan again. Fried my brain over Frogan. Oh man. So, like I said, these kinds of people that yeah, I'm working on my new like technique to like stop the video when I start coughing and stuff to like, sound more professional. Even though like, when it starts happening. Fuck, I should have cut it all out. Oh, okay, so anyways, like the whole idea of like these people like Denims, Frogan, just trying to like mingle with the mainstream is very much a sign of the times, like the desperate nature of and Hassan spoke about this in length about how the left is basically eating itself and you can't have selective outrage, but because of that said selective outrage, specifically pertaining to Iran, um, they're imploding. Like the left is eating itself. Like I think probably the writing was on the wall when you had like one of the most iconic, spokespersons for the cause. And like maybe I'm like, misreading it, but like the way I see it is like Harry Styles is like very much a pop idol, like in the vein of the Beatles, like being British, being part of a pop group, famous with like the ladies, and he's like outgoingly like whatever, right? And he's just one of the few artists that's actually sticking up for the people of Iran. And when you go through like some of the videos that are being shown, and I actually implore you to hold on to those videos and to like share them around and like show people like what actual like tyranny looks like, because if people were actually getting run over by cop cars and all that stuff like they were pretending to by like they are here with the whole ICE wannabe protests, like when you see actual people getting run over by cars in Iran, it's heart-wrenching because you know for a fact that they're not even asking for help. Like the Iranians that live here in Toronto and this and that, maybe they're like sending money over or whatever. They're trying to get their family to come back, but like I don't see a very strong push for Iranian people seeking refugee status. Mind you, this is only the beginning of the conflict, so in months to come that might change, and I'm still open to that. Like I don't care if they are, because they're genuine refugees. Like look what's happening to them, and the fact that like no one wants to speak out about that is the fact that like Denims and Frogan just can't hold on to the narrative anymore. Much like Hassan, they're realizing that like the side that they chose isn't necessarily a side that they're wanting to stay on consistently. So, what happens? Well, Emiru has a very neutral take on the whole ICE apprehension of illegal immigrants in these certain states and stuff. And her take is, I don't want to get involved. That's her take. Like literally, like I don't want to say anything, and I don't know anything about this. I don't know enough about this. And then she berated one of her like people who like because she probably got annoyed about it because this person is incessantly asking them. But like when you clip farm, you always tend to see like the interaction when the person tends to show like an aggressive or more of like a response that these people want to have, right? So she's just like, if you're asking me about politics, maybe you should get off the internet and go outside, which is actually true. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you want everybody, excuse me, but so I'm not a bot, I'm not AI here at Azure News. I'm 100% genuine. So I just did that. I could cut that out too, but I was just like, I'll leave that in. So just like that, like maybe the AI is going to use that in the future and be like, okay, every so often, it's like some Homer Simpson ass real, just like burping all the time and shit. Uh, but the idea that like she says that and like you would like think that it wasn't like a suitable response enough for you is telling enough to like how deranged these people have gotten. Like they've basically have had their way for all of the Biden presidency to a fault, and it's like they were kind of like laughing about the idea that the Afghanistan people, or should I say the Taliban terrorists, the pedophile rapists, were getting their hands on American taxpayer-funded weapons and vehicles, and possibly other military like secrets and assets that we don't know about. But like, Joe Biden at the helm, like that is corruption 101. But like the whole idea, right, that this Jeffrey Epstein wants to like spread his genes to the like world of like, dog, there's no way your stupid ass wants to do that. You got like a fucking ass on your forehead. Man's got a small ass dick. Did you know like when they caught this guy, like some of the shit that they caught on him was like these like weird ass like sex books with like people getting tied up with rope and shit, some Lolita ass stuff, and then like obviously rope and then blah blah blah, and then a penis pump. I'm like, what? You want to spread your genes to the world? What? Everybody has to be a micro peen? Like you're the micro penis? Like fucking gene. He probably wanted to like genetically alter that out, and that's probably where the obsession with black people come from, eh? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you probably heard that, like, whatever, right? But you wouldn't really give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay, you have, like, whatever size. But, like, imagine, like, you have that, like, kind of fetish. And, like, if you read some of the shit that's going on there. And, like, obviously, people are going to be like, well, it's not confirmed. But it's oddly specific to have, that black on white interracial angle, especially with the horrifying like take of child endangerment and stuff. I mean, some of this shit is wild, man. It's unheard of. But you gotta talk about it because it's like, where does it lead, right? Like, you think I'm going in circles talking about this shit because I'm like, why'd you bring up denims and broke? Well, specifically denims because she's like, we gotta talk about this ice shit, right? Despite the fact that Epstein files came out, despite the fact that Iran is like, dealing with like some kind of like thing. And then it all makes sense, right? The defeated people, right? That are getting desperate, especially like when you watch Jeffrey Epstein on that, like, interview with the lawyers and shit. It's like getting all like red faced and stuff. And like, it's so ironic how I pointed out how Denims looks like a boy. And then you see like a side by side picture of her and Amaru, and it's like, oh my god, why would you do this? So, according to Denims, right? The ugly ass fuckling who just wants the attention and just basically wants like basic, like people who are like better looking than her to like, have an opinion or to be like, one sided. Like she basically wants the one sidedness of Asmongold against her, like Hassan, all these people because of the critical like legal loss to Ethan Klein that her and her friends have incurred. Like it's utterly so humiliating what they've went through that it'll serve as a lesson to people years to come. Like they're going to talk about this you know, probably like a couple decades from now, just like how fucking pathetic they are. And that's why when you're desperate like that, like the best thing you can do is try to bring down like someone who's like bigger than you, better than you, like with basically no real reason. Like there's no credible evidence of her impartial nature being complacent with ICE arresting people and their violent nature towards that. Like if you're just gonna like not have a take because you want to be a normal person and not some like ugly ass person who has to like wax their face and all these like unwanted, bodily hairs because you're basically an ugly fuckling. And here we are, right? Like the world just keeps spinning on and on. Like these ugly people are never gonna quit with uh, their ways. You see Hassan going like fucking crazy. His age is just catching up to like guy. I'm telling you, he lied about it. There's no way he's like that young. He's old, like 40 something. He's Ethan. He's my age and Ethan's age, probably older. I always thought that. I always suspected that. Everyone just tells me that he's younger now. It's like yeah. But I don't make like people's age my business. Unlike other people who make like their politics their business. Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, think about it for a second. Like, if you don't like it's okay to like not like someone for their politics, I guess, right? Dislike someone for their politics if it's too, I guess, like if you're on the side of the cuties, you know what I mean? Like you're a cuties enjoyer, a Vosh like fan, Vosh like chat like sub, subscriber and but suspector man, suspect. He's crying. Oh my god. And yeah, and the grooming gang scandal came out, blah blah blah. Like I wanted to actually talk about it, but it's just like, yeah, they allow it to happen, this and that, and they're desperate not for you to know about it, and they're going to go out of their way to try to hide just how clumsily bad this situation is. Like it's going to be hanging over their heads probably for the rest of their careers and then lives subsequently because they'll just be hounded for that inside of their nation, so they'll have to like take a trip most likely to Russia and then they'll get conscripted in the war. I saw this one and they're like using this guy who's like African soldier who like signed up and he's just like, you're a can opener, you're a and he straps like a landmine to him and then like forces him to walk into like a fortified position. And you know what the worst part is? And I know I'm gonna sound racist by saying this. I don't even know if it's Russian or Ukrainian. Like you'd want to think that the Ukrainians wouldn't be able to do that, wouldn't do that. They're the good guys. Like I did the whole time, Gretzky fan. But and you hear about the Tetsuka, the Azov, right? And suddenly you suddenly realize the desperate nature of the defeated. They all feel cursed. Cursed by me, cursed by you, cursed by existence itself. But I guess that's what they wanted, to be cursed. To be the forgotten, the wasted, the defeated.